me.
252.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek, giving you the info you need to achieve mega nerd status. NetHeads.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Trent, it's a brave new world where, once again, I have no idea what's working where.
It's the year 2000.
I don't even know what it is. Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many different ways. One of them is Twitter. And Trent, I love to have you tell the people how they do that.
It is so simple. Like we are in an age where all I have to do is use the hashtag NetHeads, and everyone already knows what I'm talking about. Yes, it's Twitter. Yes, you can respond and give us your thoughts about the program live as it's happening or afterwards on the podcast. And if you're lucky, you can derail us into just reading Twitter the whole time.
Yes, you could definitely do that. You most certainly could. And by the way, when I say I don't know if anything's working, it's because I have no idea what is literally working anywhere right now, because we're doing something new tonight, Trent. We're trying to multicast, if you will. And by that, I mean that we are at least running currently on, we're on Smodco Internet Radio.
It's modcast.com.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Did you look at that?
Oh,
yeah.
that
was so good.
That was very impressive. So we're doing that. I technically believe we may be live on Facebook Live right now.
Okay.
Maybe. And definitely YouTube. The only thing that I think may have fallen out of the mix may have been Twitch.
And that's okay. However, I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the so on Twitch you can have an image up on your channel when you're not online, and Will has created the world's greatest static image for an offline, for at least for someone who was around at least at the very beginning of my life when television would go off air. It is a beautiful homage to the standardized at the time off air. This ends our broadcast day panel that used to go up.
Full credit where credit is due. That was actually Doug Hoxter Jr. or Fresh23 on the tweets.
Dougie Fresh.
That's right. So
he's the man. It is beautiful. I think it is amazing.
I did too. The moment he showed it to me, I'm like, well, let's post that right up. Let's get that
that's
up there.
A thing. I'm using that.
So I think that's. But you know what? It live and learn, right? Is what it is.
Yeah.
Miraculously though. They do, and for those wondering, we're using a function called Restream that I think it was actually the good fellas at what's the name of that thing? It was Johnny White Trash, I think it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he kind of clued us in that well, if you didn't have your head up your ass, you could use Restream.
Hey now.
Okay. Well, he didn't put it that way. That's kind of the way I broke it down.
It was probably more like, now, hey, if you guys didn't have your head up your ass. He had the greatest radio voice I have ever heard in my life. It makes me want to smoke for that reason alone.
Yeah.
That I might be able to have an inch of his girth.
Yeah, just so you can have, because really it sounds like he has this beautiful voice that's coming straight from testosterone and gravel.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, it literally could not come from any place besides Medicine Hat.
Yeah. So he tipped us off to that, and honestly, YouTube keyed right in. I did look up on what you have to do for Facebook, so that does require a little setup. Obviously, with Twitch, needed to take it a little extra stance. So
yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Maybe next time, folks. I was hopeful. I was excited. I was hoping, but negatory.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's okay.
It's okay. And like I said at the beginning of the show, Trent, as long as it's getting out there, whatever.
Yeah, as long as it's available to someone somewhere.
Yeah,
Someone somewhere beneath the smart sky.
Wow, that was just beautiful, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
And notice I was smart enough just to shut the hell up the minute you said, even though I know I'm multi-track recording, I'm like,
Sure,
nope,
sure.
let's let him run because somebody else may capture this.
And that brings up the next question. Which is your favorite of the two American Tales, Will? Is it American Tail or is it American Tail 5 Goes West?
The answer to that question, sir, is that I have never seen either one. Well, I didn't expect that reaction. It's a
Really?
Yeah, never. I never saw what is it? What is
American Tail?
Yeah, or 5 Goes West, which was number 2. No,
Yeah.
I haven't ever seen either one.
Oh my gosh, dude!
What? Why does that shock you so much?
I don't know. It just, I mean, I'm just such a fan of Don Bluth.
Did you ever see The Secret of Nim?
Oh, did I? Loved it.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Loved it. I would argue, without an American Tail, we wouldn't have ever had something like an Iron Giant. It kind of paved the way for animated features outside and Secrets of Nim for that matter, outside of Disney features.
Yeah, that's true. And Don did a lot of great work.
Oh my gosh, yes.
As a matter of fact, I think Brad Bird definitely seemed to inherit his styling, if you will.
I totally agree with you. Yep, I totally agree with you.
Speaking of styling, Trent, holy crap. So for those that are wondering, even though I think that's somewhere probably south of nobody, we ended up taking the week off last weekend.
We did.
Mostly because life just happens, man. Actually,
Yeah.
Look, okay, I'll be honest. Part of the reason why we did was because I checked in with Trent, and he said, okay, well, I got certain availability. And I said, okay, that's great. Because I was checking in with you on Friday morning, I think it was. And
yeah,
then,
I think so, yeah.
And then Friday at 3 p.m., I basically found out that we are, and this is a little behind the scenes, but I basically found out that we were going live with Babelvision.
Yes.
that Monday. So
well, this is a pretty unique thing. I mean, how much can we talk about Babelvision?
Well, it's live. It's been live for a week.
Like this is a pretty unique, especially in the podcasting realm, I think. Outside of say like a Joe Rogan Experience, any of the Sirius XM podcasts, like this is a DIY, like in front of your seats, premium content for minimal cost.
Well, I don't know about. Well, yeah, I guess you could say minimal. I think it's a reasonable cost, especially considering the fact that it's also, I mean, folks, for those of you that are wondering, and I'm not going to talk out of shop here, I don't think, but when it comes to the majority of your favorite YouTube channels, and maybe they'll have a premium area or what have you, I'll guarantee you right now, they're not really making their money off of YouTube.
No,
they're making their money from production companies,
yes,
or backers or the like that are supporting that endeavor. And I'm telling you right now, Babelvision is 100% self-funded.
Yeah, the days of the heydays of the YouTube millionaire are over, folks. You could no longer produce content and be sustainable just off views alone. Those days are over. YouTube got wise to it. They changed things. Just recently, a wrestling promotion, a fairly big one in the United Kingdom, What Culture. They're very famous for kind of their clickbait videos. 10 things you WWE doesn't want you to know about X, Y, and Z. They were doing their own promotion for a little while, and the only way to see it was via live YouTube, and then YouTube, as Will has talked about in the past, came back and said, you don't really adhere to what we think our standards are, so you can no longer monetize off of your views. And so they were just like, now what? Because they'd built their whole model around this. And so they, granted, there are other ways to do it, obviously, but they'd put so much time and effort into building around this model that, those days are over.
They are, but then again, there are other people, other companies. There's different ways you can still make money if you can build a big enough audience.
Exactly. This is just the the way to get in front of people. You can still make money before that.
Yeah, it's like, but you have to now venture out. You got to get into multi-channel marketing, or like the I keep saying they're the Kind of Funny guys. You know, they branched out from where they were, and they have their own subscription. Screen Junkies has a subscription service as well, so they kind of went another way. And I gotta admit, if for no other reason, I'm happy Babelvision exists because. When you are a person that may never get an opportunity, and this is international, if you've never had an opportunity to see a live Hollywood Babylon and you've always wanted to know what the Bowie dance looked like or what's going on, it for me as a fan, it is one of the best. I am so glad it happened finally, because I've been looking for it. I've been waiting for it. I've been able to go see a live show or two. And it's just like the only thing that would be one step further is if they could stream it live from the club. That would be the only way it could get better in my book.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like this is such a cool, unique opportunity for people like myself, you know, who just does that's not something that, unless the stars align, that I happen to be in LA at the time, that I could happen to hit the show at the right time, but this gives me a chance to still jump into the zeitgeist, to appreciate it that much more, because man, there are so many times that something's going on, Ralph's doing an impression or something, and Kevin loses his shit, and as a listener you're just like, what the fuck's going on here?
Wait, what just happened? I don't know what happened. Something happened and I'm not aware. The other thing I like about it too, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to start off our show with a big old commercial for Babelvision, especially.
Oh, but it's a good product though.
Considering our audience, it's really not like it's a commercial that's appealing to anybody. They're probably already Babel fans, and
they're like, hey, we're quit preaching to us. We're in the choir.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that I do love about it is that, like you said, you get to see some of these little elements, because
Totally.
I think I even mentioned it on the podcast once that there was one time I'm like, there's always this one moment where Ralph is talking and he just suddenly goes like, and I'm like, what is that? Now you get to see it. The other cool thing too, it's we've pretty much guaranteed if you're on your mobile device or your computer, you can watch it. But guess what? At least if you're on an Xbox One, for example, you can watch it on your TV through that as well if you're using the web browser.
Yes.
So this is an opportunity to, every week that they're able to record, you're able to sit down and watch Hollywood Babylon on your television. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for.
Yep.
For ages. So, and if you want to know more about that, babelvision.com. Okay. So that was the reason why we weren't on last week, is because mostly because I was obsessed about that, and it really was the first week. And folks, I'm telling you, this is not only is it self-funded, but it is let's just say we are a low-cost operator.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that means is that it is a minimal crew that is achieving anything. And the one thing I do love about this is, Doug Hoxter Jr., the gentleman who did that wonderful off-air thing, the animation that you see below us when you're watching, he did that for us too. He does, and if you've been a fan of the YouTube Hollywood Babylon videos, where it's basically just the audio and then it cuts to media that's displayed and the like. He's been producing those for like 3 years now for us. And the one thing that I worried about with Babelvision coming on is like, oh my gosh, is poor Doug going to get cut out? But no, instead, it is a great, this amazing partnership. So Josh Roush, Dr. Josh on the ones and twos, every time you listen to Hollywood Babylon, playing the sounds, it's his crew that's also shooting the video. So then literally somebody else drives so he can acquire the footage on the way home, right? Or just start getting it as soon as possible. That night, they upload the audio to me. I clean up the audio. Now, in the meantime, all of the media, we also get over to Doug. So he renders out all the video clips. Because if you watch this, it's very similar to
there's the injected clips to it still, yeah.
Yeah, and it's more, it looks a lot cleaner than I would have expected the first time around. So it's
good job, Doug.
Yeah, exactly. So but so it all just comes together in a really great way. So it's so nice. It's just perfect. So it was I guess the best way to put it is I'm just so glad we pulled it off, because
you did, man. You pulled it off without a hitch.
Yeah, and mind you, like it was, and I'm not saying that this was like a last minute decision. We had been building up to it, but it was just like at 3:00 on Friday. I'm like, oh, it's a real thing. Okay. I've sort of proven we can make it work, but I should really make sure it does before 10 o'clock when these
It's
guys
like-
go live.
It's like, in theory, yes, this is doable.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually confirmed. So I had to, and I knew that they were going to announce it at the show that night. So it's like somewhere between 10 o'clock and midnight, I've got to have something that actually works. So thankfully, I was able to get a video that we could use for testing, and we were able to test the pay gate, and it all came together. And if you're one of the lucky people that signed up in the first few days, congratulations! You got to take advantage of a yearly price of $50 that's now been adjusted up. So way to go!
That's insane.
Yeah, exactly. It was insane and oversight. So
just think of it this way, right? So for the in a somewhat similar fashion, although not nearly as well edited or as coherent as is Babelvision, I subscribe to a local wrestling promotion, and they do a show once a month, and then the next day they have it up on their for-pay Vimeo channel. It's $10 a month, which to me is great because I get to go see myself on TV, right? I get to see myself on the front row yelling at wrestlers and stuff. But the fact that you're able to put this out for $80 a month with, not necessarily every single
$80 a year.
Or a year, excuse me. Yeah,
That's
$80.
That's less than $7 a month.
Right, and you're getting content at least more than one show a month. Like, that's in all seriousness. If you look for comparable streams, for-pay streams, there's nothing close.
Yeah, I'm really
I'm
excited.
dead serious.
And one of the things that eventually is going to drop on it, if you've been waiting to see it, is actually the pilot from the non-picked up AMC Hollywood Babylon show.
Yes.
Which part of it is featured in this week, and the reason why brings us out of commercials and to probably one of the I'm not saying the most surprising things, because when people get older, this is the eventuality, but unfortunately we lost TV's Batman Adam West this week.
Yeah.
And that happened I guess Friday night, and we all found out Saturday morning. And I gotta say, I don't know, maybe it's because he was such an icon, or because Batman 66 itself had such a great resurgence. If there's any one thing I'm thankful for, it's that Ralph Garman not only exists, but has been, basically singing his praises and making people aware. And so there's that, but also I'm glad that Adam was around to be able to see the TV show come out on Blu-ray finally, for example, and get
which was something that many people thought would never happen, just out of rights of distribution and everything else. Like for him to be able to see it, not only get out, but I hope he realizes that it's affected so many other people. A really good friend of mine, like that was his connection with his dad growing up, was watching that, right? And so now he has kids, and finally, because of this release, he's able to now bridge that gap, and the three generations can sit together and have this shared experience that's lasted, weirdly in this familial kind of growing way. I don't know. Like I hope that was something that he was able to appreciate, and I'm sure it was.
I hope so too. I really do. And I just found out, even though recording, it doesn't look like you're. I'm glad you said, "Hey, do you want me to do a backup recording, just in case?" Because now, for some reason, your channel's not going out to everybody.
Okay. Well, that makes
people are hearing me talk to myself, which I often do anyway. So
yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
But but with all this video distribution, does it matter? Because hey, well, hopefully you're getting out to them too. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Who knows?
We don't know. So there's that. I'm glad you got to see that, but also, I'm also glad that you had something like the Lego Batman movie that happened, and
totally.
And
oh my gosh!
The great thing about that movie, I did finally get to see it, is that it kind of takes the what is his name? Grant? No, not Grant. Oh, why can't I remember his name right now? One of the anyway, it doesn't matter. But he was on Fat Man on Batman, and he kind of subscribed to the fact that there is, they're all Batman. Every Batman iteration we've seen, there is just like there's the early going Batman, and then the more stoic Batman, or the the more campy Batman. There's the trippy '60s Batman,
Right.
And the movie did that too. You know, they represented that. They said, you know, Batman has always been Batman no matter what, and it's been all this stuff strung together, and you know that also got to include, cinematically speaking, you know, Adam West, because he was even represented
Totally.
in that movie.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, this is one of those things that is it's hard. It's harder on Ralph, naturally, because they had a friendship, but you know it's hard, I think, for everyone, because for the longest time Adam West was our Batman, because he's the
Yeah.
only Batman that we really got in any type of media. So, and I remember, and this is the part that I think stings for a lot of people, is it's part of your childhood now being lost,
Yeah.
and of course the reminder of our own eventual demise.
Right.
Sorry to take it dark, folks, but hey, let's keep it real.
No, it's true. It's the passing of the guard, right? It's the passing of the baton to the next generation, that it's up to them to tell their story now.
Yeah, and I can't remember now, because the years have gone by so many. I don't know if it was KBHK TV 44 or if it was TV 20, but I remember every day from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, it was Batman on, and I would rush home to be able to
Yes.
watch the Cape Crusaders, and I was like, "Oh, is this going to be one like Batgirl is in the beginning?" No, okay, it's not. All right, fine. And then you'd watch the rest of the episode, and you know, it was the only Batman we had, but it was great because it was live action, and I think the other thing too, since they've come out on video, being able to reappreciate them. The one thing I never realized as a kid, the one thing that I missed, you know, people will say that Batman 66 or that Adam West Batman was campy. But that's one of the things I don't think a lot of people have picked up on. If you watch it, Adam West played it straight. It was the
Oh,
show
totally.
that was campy.
Yes. Yes.
So he honored it and respected it. And one thing that this weekend has definitely shown is that people that encountered him loved him, which is so, because that's what you want for Batman. And you know, I'm sure
Yeah. Yep.
for him Batman was a bit of a bitter pill, because you know Hollywood is a very fickle beast, and even though he may have had a career, and because I think he had done westerns before that, and then he
Yeah.
got picked up by Batman. After that, he was you know, dropped like a hot potato, and that was it. And so I'm sure there is some bitterness, and some ways he doesn't, you know, he may not have enjoyed being acknowledged as Batman, but you know, he'll forever be my first Batman. We've all had our first Doctor. We
Yep.
remember when we saw Star Wars the first time, and we'll always remember who our first Batman was. And there's an entire generation that did that, and the man was just, I mean, he honored the craft, which I love. He didn't stray
Yeah.
away from it. He never thought, you know, I'm in this costume and I've got a cardboard yellow bat or yellow circle on my chest, because that's the way they threw that stuff together. Like
Yeah.
Frank Gorshin's, that's one of the things we learned through, I think, either Geeking Out or something else. Like Frank Gorshin's Riddler costume, the original one, it was just like black Sharpie on a bodysuit.
Yeah.
You know, they did. And if you think about it, they must have put half the money into that Bat Cave set, because damn.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a bitter pill to kind of have hit this this weekend. But you know what I also decided, because I will tell you that I think from Star Wars Celebration, we got a lot of. Oh, actually, no, I remember what it was. A couple weeks ago, my sister-in-law gifted us tickets to the to a Giants game, San Francisco Giants.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, me. I went to go see the sports ball, Trent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but hey, dude, if there's one thing I know in your family, it's that Giants trump all.
Yes, they do.
That
They
is the
do.
team.
Yes.
That is the team.
So, well, for my, I mean, not me, but
Right. I know you get to be a part of it, though.
I do, tangentially speaking. So, but it was that night they were like, it was a secondary Star. There's always like around the fall, there's this big Star Wars night, right?
Yeah.
But this was like a secondary one because it was around the time of the 40th anniversary of A New Hope, and one of the things that still affects me as well is the death of Carrie Fisher. and that night happened to be a Friday fireworks night, so they had a special one that was orchestrated. The fireworks were a combination of clips and John Williams music, and it was really. I posted it privately, so I shouldn't talk about it. But there was the moment where there was the tribute for Carrie Fisher, and I started to lose it again, and then I realized, you know what, I gotta stop this. And because why am I crying? And really, it's probably just the reminder of where we all go. But at the same time, I decided, like, especially with Adam West passing, because this one kind of hit me hard too. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna celebrate life instead of mourn it. So I'm going to enjoy everything that these people did and they gave us and they contributed, and I'm not gonna dwell on it anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. You know what I mean? That's where I'm going.
Well, I mean, it's hard, man. It's so hard, especially when, it's the way media is, right? It's easy to develop a relationship with someone who's talking to you nonstop, but never gets to hear your voice. Do you know what I mean? And so it means so much to us because, it's like you said, he was Batman, the Batman to a whole generation, and that's something pretty powerful just to be like, well, it's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think feeling sad is definitely part. I mean, it's a grieving process that we all go through, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's I'm stoked when we can reach the point where we can then be happy and celebrate the good, and then continue to focus on that, right? And hopefully we can see more releases of these, or we can see resyndication, or not unlike, I would, fingers crossed, if Twitch is got any inkling of humanity in their life, like when they streamed the full week of Bob Ross, stream a full week of the Batman, the 66 series, like things like that. I think their passing will actually project them even further into more homes, hopefully.
Well, I'm just wondering if IFC still has the broadcast rights currently for it, and if they do,
right,
are they running a marathon, for gosh sakes?
They should be. Like, I mean, it's summertime. There's no new content coming out. Just put it up, and it would do well, and you would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things I first wondered. I'm like, is anyone running it? I just want to watch my Batman right now.
I know, because it's been weird, because it really has gone through a lot of weird things. I know, as far as like who's had the rights for syndication. Growing up, for me, I was able to get it after school right before the syndicated reruns of TNG came on, and so that was actually my first exposure to it. It was after like the first couple of cartoons ran at 3:00, and then or maybe until like 3:30, and then the Batman 66 came on, and then it was TNG. So I watched the entire series after school, which is kind of weird. Not necessarily weird for rural Wyoming, where they don't have a whole lot of programming options, but it was weird for someone my age to have exposure to it, that tangentially, when the Batman animated series was running.
Yeah, that's true, actually, because then you have like conflicting Batmans.
Totally, yeah. But man, I didn't miss it. It was always on.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I admit, I think when the Batman movie came out, that was when everyone's like, "Ah, the hell with 66 Batman. Now we got a broody Batman," and I'm just like, I'm the same way with like Spider-Man too. It's just kind of like, look, the movie may not be great, but I'm getting Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
Which, by the way, I can neither confirm nor deny where I heard this. But the only thing I'll say is that for Spider-Man Homecoming, if you have any trepidation, I think we're going to be okay. Right? Yeah, that's the same way I feel. So
Dude, yeah.
And for those of you wondering, no, I did not hear that from Kevin Smith. I just want to confirm that
not
right
that you
here.
could say if you had or not.
Right, exactly. Let's not get into who said what, because next thing I know, I'm in front of a Senate Intelligence Committee. Yeah. And the president saying, by the way, I'm sorry to get political. We're running out of time. Trent's got a deadline. The pizza made us late. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's fine.
Trent, I don't know if you're available Tuesday. Maybe we could do another pickup Tuesday night. We'll see. It's hard. Anyway, I just have to say this. Setting all of the politics and bullshit aside, I think one thing has become abundantly clear to me, and that is that Donald Trump is still trying to play his original game, even though
Yep.
the game has changed, because I don't think he realizes that basically he has accused James Comey of perjury
Perjury.
in
Yeah.
front, which in front of the Senate is not good.
No.
So that's all I really want to say about that. I don't want to say anything else. You
Yeah.
know, even though it was funny hearing Comey say, "Lordy, I hope there are tapes."
Well, I mean, that's it's interesting to think about when an accusation from the top down like that comes out. It essentially just turns into a binary confliction, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Where so according to you, if this is right, it's either right or wrong. And since you've made a stance on it, either one person is in the realm of obstruction of justice, and the other person is in perjury. And because you've made a stance on it,
Yeah. That's one of those things. It's better not to say anything. And look, if there's
Right.
any one thing both you and I know, it's better not to say anything.
yeah, just keep your mouth shut.
By the way, also, if you want to keep this bipartisan, which I'll definitely be open to, let's remember the statement was, "I hope you can." So there was no order given. Excellent choice of language, I think, if you were
Absolutely,
going to ask.
almost like it had been vetted with lawyers prior.
Somewhat. So from that standpoint too, is there really obstruction of justice here? I don't think so. So that's
Right.
my two quick cents on that. I don't really want to talk about that though. What I want to do, because we're running out of time, is I want to hop over to Trent's Corner if you don't mind.
Yes.
It's that time where we find out what is in Trent's Corner.
Ew, what's that?
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't want to do this, but I'm going to anyway. What is in Trent's Corner?
That's right, folks. I talk way too much, and we got to give Trent a chance. And I got to tell you, the kid has been dropping some serious science on me lately.
Dude.
So talk it
Dude.
up, bro. Talk it.
Holy smokes, dude. So Friday, Samsung announced and showed their newest thing that I think is going to become a new standard in the tech world. If you're like me, so for example, at work I have 2 monitors and connected to my Windows computer and then an iMac. So I've got essentially 3 monitors set up. Samsung has just unveiled a monitor that is put the ultra wide scaling. It's 32:9, and the biggest ultra wide up to this has been 21.9. And holy shit, man, it is beautiful. It bends, so it's a curved screen, so that it's always in your peripheral, right? So if something happens on the side, you just turn your head barely to see it. You don't have to move like at work. Something comes up on the iMac, I have to turn over to that.
Okay,
This way,
I'm going to present this way because my desk is such a mess. I don't want everybody
Yeah.
to see it.
sure.
But if you can make it, well, no, the brightness is too high. Well, nothing ever works, Trent. To hell with technology.
It happens.
But this is my desk, folks. So that's 4 monitors you're seeing there, and so I would only have to have 1 monitor with this. Is what you're basically preaching, right?
Exactly, dude.
Now my question then is, I didn't read the article, but for this to work, obviously one of the things that would need to be supported would being able to have like border geography within, so that way you could have theoretical separate screens within the screen.
Correct. Yes, and the Windows 10 already has that with it, because I already use that in the setup for my. You can have it populate to certain places. You can have windows that are always on top, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For gamers, they have a screenshot of Battlefield, and holy shit, man, it is insane.
Are they using the entire screen?
The entire screen for it, yes.
Oh man.
And you can only imagine, right? So you've got your headphones on and you hear something coming up from the side and you can just barely, oh man, it looks really cool. And here's the thing, it's expensive, but for what it is, I don't think it's that expensive. It's $1,500. It's $1,500. But the cool thing is, so this coming out means that other widescreen, the more ultra wide screens that come out, the more affordable regular 16:9 screens are going to be, and 21:9 screens are going to be. So I think instead of running 2 huge HD monitors, we're going to be able to run one until it kind of gets up to where now you can buy it. Okay, which screen do you want? The ultra high def, and they can just kind of the ultra wide high def and go down like that and kind of choose it that way. For the thing that I think it's really going to help with is video editing.
Oh, dude, I could only imagine. That
Can you
would be
imagine?
amazing.
This is going to be even at the cost, right? I think it's probably going to become the standard in an editing bay, because you can have everything up all at once. You can actually see a long timeline, not having to zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out,
gosh.
which is the worst for video editing. So it is really, really cool. It is expensive, but I'm excited because it's gonna change the market of everything else.
And the thing we always have to remember is when it comes to technology, that just means it's too expensive now, but a year and a half from now that they've dropped this, because you're starting to see. Remember remember HD TVs.
Yeah.
It was like $4,000 for an HD TV.
Exactly.
And now you can get a semi-decent one at your Costco for $9.99. And that's where 4K TVs are at now. So, and naturally, of course, now that somebody has created it or innovated, there will be others to make it as well. So, honestly speaking, if we're still talking in a year and a half, Trent, I think we'll be able to talk about how they're coming down to like $800 now.
I totally agree. And think about it too. Like you'll be using one power source now instead of two, if you're, or three, depending on how many monitors you have. I see everything about it seems like a really good thing for me. And it is the first monitor to also feature AMD's FreeSync 2 technology, which is supposed to help the graphics card communicate with the monitor. It's kind of like the Brontosaurus, right? The Brontosaurus was so big, it had to have a helper brain so that it could transfer its thoughts to the body quick enough. So that's what this does. It's like a helper brain to talk between the monitor and the graphics card even faster, so that there's no latency in that transfer.
Actually, in that I just learned two things. Apparently, I need a helper brain because I didn't even know that. Where was the helper brain on the Brontosaurus? Was it like around its back?
Yeah, it was in its hip. Yeah, like right in the center of between its two hip blades. Yeah, it had like a helper brain, so it could relay everything to the bottom half of its body faster than if it just came straight from the brain.
So basically, it had it had a like a wireless extender.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a switch that was getting powered right there, so it could keep going.
Very good. Boy, that's interesting, man.
Anyway, I'm excited for it, man. Granted, it'll be a few years before I have one, but I really think this will be the standard down the road.
Well, it makes perfect sense because we really are. We're getting more and more immersive. We're able to experience more things and do more things technologically speaking. So it only makes sense that that part of the experience is going to extend out. The only thing that we're starting to see is that some companies aren't focusing so much on the presentation here. They want to bring it into the closest focal point and bring it into the environment with VR and enhanced reality and all that. So it is nice for us people that still like to use monitors and don't want to worry about VR for right now, except maybe to play the Rick and Morty VR game. Maybe that.
My girlfriend, she got the new S8 and she got the VR headset with it. And she hasn't downloaded many games with it, but the kind of the standard package, free to play whatever stuff, has mostly been 3D video stuff, which has been pretty damn entertaining, regardless of like the interactability. Like there's a Lego Batman 360 game, which is it's you don't really do anything. You're just there for the ride, but you're sitting in the Batmobile looking around and you see all these little Lego pieces that have built it up and like the Lego tubing and everything else like that. It's pretty damn fun.
I can imagine. The only thing I feel sorry for are the people that are wired up to where first person stuff just doesn't add up in their brain. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
There are some people that just can't play a first person shooter, or they can't play that kind of augmented not even augmented, but that kind of pseudo reality because the movement there just it isn't adding up between their eyes and their brain.
Yeah, it messes with them. Yeah.
And God, I hope I don't become one of them. I'm worried though. The older you get, the more you're like, when suddenly you're realizing I've been walking for 2 hours and wow, something actually hurts. You start to realize certain other things, like maybe the eye-ear connection could also start to downgrade.
True.
God, I'm just starting. I gotta do something, man. I need a new hobby or something because I start to come at you with like, not on my lawn.
Get off of my lawn.
Exactly. Anyway, well, that monitor sounds amazing. I can't wait to hopefully have one some year, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, down the road. Like I said, down the road. Everything has to start somewhere, and we've seen it start right here.
Actually, the cycle is probably about 4 years, I think, is kind of where we see it. It's, there's the early adopter tax,
Right.
and then there's the more it's diversified, other people find cheaper ways to do it, and eventually you get something. So maybe, but I think that's more around 4 years. Maybe not so many 2.5. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see. But we won't see anymore, Trent? You and me. We're going to go out of here now. We got things to do.
Fair enough.
Trent, you know why I'm so surly? I built IKEA furniture today, okay?
You used an Allen wrench and created furniture.
I did. And boy, I tell you, I've never thought to myself more than when I was cranking that stupid little Allen wrench several times. Why don't I just go get my better one? Why aren't I wearing my gloves?
I know. Why am I using the one they gave me? Mine is markedly better.
Yes. I could have far more torque right now. What am I doing? But you're all caught. Actually, it was really adorable. Yes, I'm sorry. I said we were going. Now it becomes my mom because I'm trying to say we're going, and then I'm continuing the conversation.
Oh, but just one more thing before we go.
Yeah, just one more thing. No, but this is true. I realized how I have changed from child to child. So when I would have to build furniture with Emily, I would be more concerned about the project than I would her experience because I was, I guess, thinking of all the possibilities of things that could go wrong. Screws getting misplaced, wooden posts being broken or something. I don't know what it was. Or possibly hurting the child because I'm a complete klutz. Any one of those things. But we had to get a new dining kit, like a kitchenette set because we got the original one at Target on sale. And folks, I don't mean to disparage Target in any way, but seriously, that's not, maybe an end table is okay from Target.
Yeah.
But maybe a TV stand as well. But like regular kind of high use furniture that's going to require lots of movement.
Just not holding up.
Not the best way to go. So we went to get that, and in building it, Blair is very much, oh, what are you doing? I want to help.
Yeah.
I want to help. She was a little helper. So I just said, you know what? Just look at everything you have to do. Find a way to incorporate her. She'll be thrilled, and you'll find that it'll go okay, and it won't get screwed up. And sure enough, lo and behold, it did. And boy, did it keep her entertained for the 2.5 hours in Swedish instructions that I was dealing with.
And you made it work.
Yeah, actually, Trent got a preview of Blair. She came running in right before the show.
Oh my gosh, so freaking cute.
Yeah, and yes, I did purposely say that just to fish for that because I like hearing it.
Though.
But it's true.
And she's so great too because like she's so responsive too. She, like everything I had a question for, she had an answer right, Johnny on the spot. And you brought up a point like, well, this is nothing new to her. This is a generation growing up with FaceTime.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I have to go out of town on business, then that's every night at least I check in with them. So she's used to talking to some weird guy through except in most cases it's Dad. I hope it's
Dad.
Just Dad. But yeah, it is and that's the thing too. You have to realize, like my 3-year-old, well, not even 2.5, 3-year-old. She's almost 3. She's able to knowingly go to the device that my wife requests to have something restarted if something's giving an issue, or you're able to tell her hit the eject button to bring me the disk so I can clean it. Yes, let's not get into the fact I should be getting up and go getting it myself. But hey, she's more than willing.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the main reasons to have kids.
Well, we do have remote controls too, so,
I remember whenever the remote got lost as a kid, me being the youngest,
you were the remote.
I had to sit there and turn channels.
You were the remote, Trent.
Oh.
And some bitch, you just know one of them older kids, they went ahead and they broke the knob, so you were having to use the needle nose pliers.
The vice grip, yep.
Some bitch. Trent the remote. Episode title right there, baby.
It's so true.
Anyway, folks, that's it for us this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. As always, my name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
And we'll be back
soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off.
I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it.
NetHeads.
NetHeads.
We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
Okay, two things real quick.
Talk to me.
The first, this is the first time I've ever cut to you during the Smodco Internet Radio bit and you weren't dancing. The first time. That's always so reliable. But and the other thing, too, I realize, though, is that we make people sit through that every single week live when we don't have to. And
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if it's inconsiderate because, honestly, it's so I don't have to edit it later.
Well, I mean, it's what? It's 10 seconds, 15 seconds max. It's fine.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I've never timed it, but I'm glad, well, I've been told sometimes 30 if I concentrate.